Hello and welcome to Let Me Talk to My Customer. I'm your host, Chad Counts, along with my co-host, Richard Tyler. Rich, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Chad?
Man, we're off and running in February. Hard to believe we are this deep into the year already. January, I'm not even sure if it happened. It just seemed like it completely evaporated. And so excited to get into the thick of it. It was a good January. It was a good close. And now February, we are right in the thick of good selling season across most of North America. And so we're excited. We're excited to have 2021 underway. You know, we do have to say goodbye to one of our tech overlords, Jeff Bezos. We were shocked to see him go. But at least, you know, we're not under his heavy burden anymore. So all hail Elon Musk and any of our other tech. Who else? I'm not sure. I don't even know who's running Alphabet.
What the new CEO's name is. I don't even know what the new guy's name is.
Man, Lord Bezos, we're going to miss you, brother. Anyways, but lots changing and lots staying the same. So we're excited to be with you. We got a great episode here. We hope you are enjoying following along with us, whether on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Please like or subscribe or give us any feedback if you would. And if you need to connect with us anywhere else, we are on the Twitters, Facebook, not really on Instagram or anything like that, but LinkedIn. You know, we are there to meet your needs and hear what you guys are looking for. We're going to be having our new salesperson training underway here very, very soon, locking in the details on that. And then I think we haven't put a new closing series on the agenda yet, but I think that will be our next wave. We'll bring back a closing school. In terms of sales management, sales training services, I think we maybe have 1 or 2 time slots left right now. So hopefully any of you guys who are interested in that, next one in is going to get that prime time spot. And otherwise we will keep you guys in the loop and keep you on the wait list for those services. So we're off and running with our teams. We've got a diverse amount of regions and areas that we're covering, and we're seeing really good things. I think just to give you guys a state of the union a little bit before we dive into our marketing sales topic, what we're seeing is typical growth rates that we've seen through coronavirus, anywhere from 10, 20 plus percent. Whatever trajectory you've been on this entire time, pretty much, aside from maybe May or June where it was even better, you're on that same track, with the caveat of if you're having any inventory, buying, or personnel issues. Those right now are the big Achilles heels or liabilities that we're seeing. Those are the only things that are gumming up the works, so to speak. So, you know, otherwise keep on doing what you're doing, but make sure you are not fragile in those areas. Make sure that you are protective of your inventory and that you are prioritizing getting all of that in. If you're doing that, the market is receiving it and demanding it and craving it. Otherwise, it's more on the personnel front that really we're either keeping people employed, hiring, or keeping them motivated is really the only thing. So
we're keeping them healthy. That's the other one.
Yeah. Even just the flare-ups and people being in and out and being short-staffed. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. The personnel side, I think, is definitely the harder side of the equation right now.
Yeah.
All right. So Rich, we're going to talk about marketing sales. We got 2 episodes here that we're going to do the next 2 weeks on marketing and the aspects of how that relates to sales. We're going to talk about that from a company perspective overall. And we're also going to be talking about that from a salesperson's individual perspective, how they would market themselves and things like that. So the salesperson perspective, we're going to save for our next episode. We're going to start from a company perspective. So Rich, just off the top, what awareness at all do you or the sales teams we're working with have of a company's effort to market themselves? Of the last few years, have you seen marketing or marketing related things come up very much at all backing into the sales context?
Almost never.
Okay. That's my perception too. I think this is something that is done, but it's maybe either done without much thought or without much effort. And certainly it's done without much communication back internally to the team. I've occasionally seen companies tie back a flyer or a mailer or some sort of ad campaign with a reference for the salesperson to give a discount code or something like that, right? Or maybe on our on hold music, there's a little bit of marketing. We offer this warranty, we offer delivery here, this, that, or the other. But otherwise, there's very little emphasis in marketing. And maybe there's a sense that it's a little bit redundant or we've done that before, things like that. And I think to an extent, there's probably some truth to that. It's a little bit difficult to break into your customer's cone of awareness and be something that's on the forefront of their mind. That being said, we do want to acknowledge it's still our belief that there is nothing more valuable in terms of marketing and sales than our inventory. If all of our efforts, if we were to put any effort into marketing and have shortfalls or not enough inventory or have a backlog of inventory or it's not listed everywhere, or I want to make sure I just want to be clear. I want to make sure above all, inventory is what we specialize in. I can't sell anything unless I have it, unless I have inventory and it's listed right, it looks good, it's priced right. That is far and away your best ROI and return on investment of marketing. And for many customers, your inventory is enough to sustain market presence and market awareness. However, on the other end, I do think there is, and maybe this is a way to broach this topic differently. Rich, have you seen companies lose customers or market share or presence by the fact that some other entity has either marketed, whether in person or otherwise, and basically not stolen an account, but won an account because they've been able to reach out and connect with a customer in a different manner?
Yes. I think I think everybody in the industry has to some extent, whether or not they realize it or not. There's a big 3-letter industry I'm thinking of that swoops in and steals people's market share all the time.
Sure.
So yeah, no, I mean it absolutely happens.
Yeah, presence is, and I can think there's really only a handful of I would say brands in our industry that have market presence, really,
Right.
Either across the country. I think otherwise there's some that have good presence regionally, and that has its impact. But definitely out of my area, there's only one truck I see on the road in our industry, and that I remember, or I remember seeing frequently.
Right.
And so there are layers to that. There are things they offer that definitely gain traction. And so we're saying this both from an owner, manager, and salesperson's perspective. You might say, "Oh, marketing, what does it matter?" I want you to always be mindful of the fact that you are always selling yourself to customers and continually, and you need to be winning them over again and again and again. That never stops, whether it's a mailer or not, whether it's an in-person visit or not. I would say the most common form of marketing that we see amongst bigger companies is outside sales is probably first and foremost what comes to mind. Being able to stop into different customers, different shops, and try and build out certain areas. Either we're starting a new route in this area, or we've been looking at our books and seeing we have some customers at risk in this area, or we're trying to expand our collision business, we're trying to expand our mechanical. There's some sort of component there that, aside from phone calls, email, mailers, if you do outside sales, you're going to get feedback, right? You're going to get information. People aren't that rude that they're just going to turn you away. And that's maybe a little bit difficult right now, even with COVID being what it is in each region. But nonetheless, I think customer contact, hearing what their priorities are, seeing their operation, that's the best way I've seen companies tie any sort of marketing or customer feedback back to their sales staff. And there's some companies that struggle to do that, where outside sales is out there, but they don't talk to the sales reps at all. And the sales reps don't really connect the dots. So
Mhm.
could you think about or imagine what would be some of feedback or information that outside sales would have that you could see being beneficial to our sales reps when they get to meet with our customers?
I mean, just I guess one might be the size of the business and whether or not it looks like they have customers.
Sure. Yeah. Just their,
Mine, I mean, if they're going to actually be in there, they're going to see the floor, they're going to see this place either looks reputable or doesn't. They've got 5 bays, they've got 1 bay.
yeah, absolutely. Right. And it's easy for the customer to say, hey, I'm busy, or we're slow, or, but that's your outside sales is boots on the ground. And
Yeah.
they're the ones who really have a sense of that. Are they part staffed? Are they full staffed? Which I think now that equilibrium's come to pass. The other thing that outside sales typically does really well is if there's been a problem and we lost that account, or there was some sort of issue, sometimes sales, we duck it, and we don't hear about it. Our owners or managers don't hear about it until we look at the numbers and see, wow, why have they stopped buying from us? And then we go, oh, I didn't get this credit, or I had this issue. The sales rep didn't get back to me. They didn't get a tracking number, kept stringing me along. We get outside sales will uncover whatever the sob story is or the problem.
And also serve as kind of like a diplomatic front there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Say, oh man, and there's like, I can visibly see that was frustrating. That was an awful experience for you. Okay. I mean, we get it. Let's make that right. Let's take this up. And it could be either way, either we didn't return their calls, or after a while this got bad and they stopped returning our calls. Right. But now we're in person. We have a chance to deal with it. So from a company's perspective, there's really only so many things that we can do. Outside sales and a lot of what we've talked about, that's kind of known marketing, right? We're already dealing and we're managing relationships where we're already known. On the flip side, though, companies continue to grow, especially those that we've been blessed to work with, who are looking to add delivery routes, who are looking to add locations, looking to move into markets or areas that they are lesser known. And that's a very challenging thing to do. And there's many companies, and the main things that they're trying to do typically are, phone. They might make calls out. They might leave messages on their call script when the customer's waiting, email, mailers, different advertisements like that, trying to break their way into a company's awareness, right? That we now offer delivery 5 days a week, or we only offer delivery in this area Tuesday and Thursday. And this could be rural and a certain area that's underserved. And hey, 2 days a week is still a big deal up there. Or could be urban and we offer delivery twice a day, or we offer delivery before work or before noon, whatever their preference is. And so I think what's important to realize here is there is no shortage of auto parts suppliers. They're everywhere, right? In different forms or facets. There are many different types of auto recyclers or parts providers or things like that. And almost all of them claim to have good service or have the best parts or the best quality, right? So when you think of marketing, you're trying to resonate. You're trying to do something that's going to lead back and generate more opportunities down the road. So, Rich, as you think about that and go beyond just, hey, we have the best service and best quality, some of those platitudes that we hear often, but they might resonate or they might not, what would be some other incentives or value propositions that you've seen resonate in your time? And that could be, thinking back to some of the better salespeople or better companies you worked with. What was it about that person, or what was it about that company? What was it that you seem to have a perception? Because you get to work with different recyclers. So from a value proposition, if you were a customer, what would benefit you, and what sort of things would you be looking for that resonate with you?
Yeah, and one of the things that you mentioned with outside sales that I think is a characteristic of what I'm thinking of is just open communication. Is like constant and continuous open communication as being a huge value proposition that sets people apart from other people in their area or
Right.
in the industry in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, even with that, so we were saying service, right? And I think a lot of people have a perception that service is never making a mistake. And I would say that's not really the case. I mean, it's
Okay.
service really matters when mistakes happen,
Right.
and how well you respond to those issues. Everybody, every company, from the big three letter to all the others, everyone has problems. And if anything, our biggest advantage over the big three letter is how we respond and have a personal service. We've been here, family owned and operated. There is a personal communal connection here as opposed to the one traded on Wall Street or wherever, right? So I think the other thing as well is I would say awareness of, from the best salespeople, awareness of the ecosystem. They get that they're not the only game in town, and
Mhm.
maybe their delivery time, or they're offering free delivery, or so and so offers this warranty. There's a sense of context of what they're providing to their customer and what matters to a dealership versus a general repair or to collision, and they know how to meet the customer's needs in their own context.
Right. And you're saying also knowing what they're up against in their
Yeah,
market.
yeah. And I think for salespeople that are listening to this, maybe newer in the industry or maybe starting out, you're just learning what your company does to an extent. And there needs to be a growth beyond that eventually. I mean, that's obviously where you should start. You know yourself and your company inside and out. But beyond that, maybe in your off time, you research the websites of your competitors. Maybe you call and see what their auto attendant says. You review their warranty policy. I want to know who I'm competing against and what I potentially have to offer, right? If I'm part of a trading group and so's not, and do I have access to more inventory to than my competition? Whatever the case may be, I want to have a sense of who my company is and what that is. And even from a standpoint of how long has my company been in business, and what is our reputation, and how do we serve our customers and everything like that. But what does that mean? Like have something behind just that platitude in terms of what that
Uh-huh.
looks like. But yeah, so that would be an internal sense, and probably also the customer sense of what do you know about that customer's business? What are their expectations? How do they make their money? And when you start moving into that world on your customer side, then you start to connect with their value. It's not just the value proposition of us as a company internally. It's what benefit does that create then for my customer, right?
Mhm.
That might benefit me, but I need to be able to connect beyond that and what benefits them, what benefits my customer.
For sure.
Okay. So that's our initial foray here for this week. And just get you guys thinking about that, thinking about what on your customers end is going to make the difference. What would create a new opportunity for you? Why would they call you in this circumstance? And is there something unique about what your company offers, right? So I think one area would be, do you offer any sort of reman, aftermarket, surplus parts, different things like that? Is there something unique about what you guys can put together and offer that your local competition doesn't, right? So be thinking about that. Learn a little bit about your company, research your competition, even asking your customers, if they're saying, "Oh, I've got a price from so and so." Okay, well, what kind of warranty are they presenting? What kind of time frame were they saying they could fulfill this order? You use those opportunities. Never hurts to ask, even if you come up empty and you aren't able to swipe the deal. It's still informative for you in terms of what you're competing against down the
Mhm.
road, right? So that's marketing sales from us for this week. That's the company perspective, the things we think about. And maybe these are things either as an owner or sales manager that you haven't thought much about recently, or maybe these are things as a salesperson you haven't realized that this is part of the battle beyond inventory. This is some of the things that we're fighting and we're working against. So hope that's been informative to you guys. Again, we hope you'll reach out to us if you have any questions or have any needs on the sales training, sales management side, and whether that's English or Spanish. We would love to serve you guys in that capacity, help you grow, help you reach your sales goals, and move beyond. If you're listening to this podcast and you're not currently experiencing above average sales growth, give us a call. You're clearly something is missing in your operation at this moment. So let's figure out what that is and not have you guys fall behind in this era. So thanks for joining us this week. We hope to connect with you online or wherever we might get to see you guys down the road. So thank you guys very much. Have a good one.
Take care.